Okay, so now we're gonna ice the turret. And yes, I'm as nervous as you are. These are always those bits on those 3D cakes that you think, oh my God, it's gonna be all crumbs. So, I'm by no means a real expert on this, but I'm gonna show you what I do. The first thing is, I use a butter knife. I always call this a butter knife. I don't know if you guys call this, would you call it a butter knife? I think some people call it, it's just the knife you use for your dinner. But basically, a smaller knife with no sharpness. And basically we're gonna do exactly the same thing, that you put a massive amount on the top. It's the same principle of wanting to cover all the crumbs before you ever start spreading. So you kind of create this big mass, and can you see that we're not going to get crumbs in it because it's so much icing that's covering the crumbs? And that way, if we get the whole thing majorly covered over, it means that then when we clean it up, the crumbs are already hidden underneath all the icing. And I think there's a temptation as you're going along to shape out sections of it to look more like they're supposed to, but it's actually better if you don't. Sorry, I probably should have got a spoon for this part. So we're gonna push it all over. James is my little cheerleader. Anything that goes wrong, he's like, don't worry, Lou. It's okay, Lou. So can you see it really is quite thick and quite messy, but we're not worrying about the crumbs at all. And you can see, so we've covered this entire thing. So we've got this great big blob. And so now the entire thing is covered in icing.
It's so pointy.
And good to go. So what you can also do is you can let that sit for a second. So in other words, that gives it a chance to soak into the icing and kind of settle itself in. And then next thing we'll then do is clean this whole thing up. So I'm going to start by cleaning the top up and just go really, really gently and put it in the bowl. And then I'm going to do the front edge. You can see there's already a bit there. So we're going to do that edge. And there's actually more of this here where that slope is. But if you just take it off bit by bit so that there's not a huge temptation. Then we're going to come around this side. You're going to go gently over the corners. You barely want to touch the corners. And you smooth it all off. And then we do another one. And it's also about making big sweeping movements. Can you see? Nice big smooth movements. And then we're going to come on this side. Just going to run my way around here. There's always a lot more excess than you realise. It's only when you start taking it off. And if you don't take it off, the problem is in an hour's time, it'll take itself off. Because gravity takes over. So it's really important to get the extra bits off. Well, you're done.
Awesome.